Hello everyone. I'm Colonel Howard Lloyd. I'm the Aviation Brigade Commander here at the 28th Expeditionary Combat Aviation Brigade. We are here to answer some questions today, but I'd like to introduce the panel right now. Right to my left is Command Sgt. Major Sean Livolsi, and then our Family Readiness Representative, Mrs. Gail Sweigert, is to my right. Right now we know this is very tough times for our soldiers and families. With the unknown of the pandemic that is actually going on and how COVID-19 is actually impacting our training and our deployment. But it's that unknown that raised a bunch of questions that is actually reassuring that the system is actually working. Gail has received a number of questions from concerned family members, and we are here today to try to answer some of those questions as we move forward and to supply you with the best information possible as we get ready for our deployment.
Good morning, Colonel Lloyd.
Good morning.
I have gotten a number of questions from the Family Readiness Groups from family members that are concerned about everything going on with this deployment and the COVID-19. Would you answer some of those questions for us today?
Absolutely, please.
Number one question that I've received from many family members is the deployment still going to happen as scheduled? Yes.
Right now, the deployment is still on schedule. We are dealing with a number of issues right now that is actually impacting our training and our schedule as we follow the guidelines that has put forth to us with the CDC, the President of the United States, the Governor of Pennsylvania. Our deployment is also developed with 8 other states that are part of our task force, 9 in total. And we are developing scenarios and courses of action that actually will help us meet all our pre-deployment training requirements and as we deploy on time. Our staff has actually been thrown a couple of different curveballs, as you can imagine, and our soldiers are phenomenal as they actually meet every day with a different challenge and how they develop how we're going to get downrange. For example, some of you have already known our training schedule and our AT, our annual training period, has been canceled, been put back on, and we really do appreciate the family members out there that are supportive of their soldiers and the ongoing changes that they have to deal with as we develop new information and new plans dependent on the information that is coming out to us and the restrictions that we have to deal with the pandemic. But yes, right now, until we get further notice, the deployment is still on schedule. We still have to answer our nation's call, and there is no other brigade out there right now, aviation brigade out there right now, that I honestly believe that can tackle this challenge that has been presented to us at this time and date for going forward.
The next question I have for you is, will there be a departure ceremony?
Right now, we are designing the message to get forward to the families. My recommendation going to our senior leadership in the state is to cancel the departure ceremony. And that is due because right now we are dealing with other organizations out there like Lebanon Valley College for the soldiers from Fort Uniontown Gap that is supplying their building and their auditorium for us, supporting, as they always do, the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. And we don't really understand the impacts it will be to them or how they feel about us going in, and to maintain that social distancing at this time with the information that we know as of this date. Our recommendation is to cancel the departure ceremony. However, we are developing a plan to get that message out to the family members that they would normally receive at a departure ceremony.
So even though your recommendation is not having a ceremony, there will be something in its place so that their families are receiving?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We are not, any of our requirements and what we do for the family members will not be canceled. We would just have to modify them a little bit, and this is one of those events.
Okay. My next question is for Command Sgt. Major Livolsi. If there's family members have an emergency, how do they get in touch with their soldier who is deployed?
It's a great question, Gail. In my past experience, there are times when soldiers will find out through communication back home that something has happened, but unfortunately that doesn't help us get the soldier out. What they really have to do is plug into the American Red Cross. That's the power that gives us the authority to put soldiers on emergency leave. So the number I have is 877-272 7337. And that's important. They have to go through the Red Cross.
Okay. Colonel Lloyd, in your opinion, the Yellow Ribbon event, why is it so important, and will there be one held prior to deployment?
Wow, the Yellow Ribbon event is an ongoing thing that is actually a requirement for the soldiers to actually accomplish, and it benefits their family. If I may, right out of the Department of Defense information, I will read the article from that really quick to actually send the message to the soldiers and their family members.
Okay.
Pre-deployment events shall focus on providing education and information that ensure the readiness of the unit, their families, employers, and the affected communities for the rigors of deployment and the challenges of family separation. The event will provide the service member and family member and/or designated representative an understanding of the available support programs and how each phase of the deployment is connected. The pre-deployment event will address issues in a proactive manner in order to build resilience and knowledge. This enables the service member and family members to have resources and information throughout deployment and integration phase. The topics in these events shall focus on, but not limited to, TRICARE, medical and dental, operational stress control, suicide prevention, and community healing and response, admin information, DEERS, service-specific websites, financial and employment, ESGR, DOL, counseling and planning, and there's a bunch of other acronyms to include legal information, family care plans, the Family Red Cross program, benefits from the VA, etc. Right now, because of the challenges of COVID-19, we are canceling the scheduled Yellow Ribbon event. However, it has already been approved through the state of Pennsylvania and our Adjutant General that we can go do a virtual event. And what does that mean is our soldiers will still have the requirement to go through the number of courses that are going to be online. That is actually approved all the way through the National Guard Bureau. Once they actually sign on, no CAT card is required. They can do it from their home computer. Once they actually sign on and register for the event, they will actually go through a number of classes that we highly recommend they include their spouses or loved ones. If they're not married, their fiance or their mom, their dad, or whatever the situation that they are in with their loved ones. But have them involved so the information gets out to them. But once they complete the courses, it is registered that they actually completed the courses. And then once they are completely done, all the, I believe there's 5 to 10 total that is recommended that they go through. But once they actually go through all of them, it's documented, and it will be in a pay status from their home of record of one of the IDT periods that we are actually providing to them, since we are not doing it in basically in March and April of the IDT.
Okay. Now, will the family members be able to do this? So say the soldier goes on, they don't do it with their family member. Can the family member actually go on and look through these and do these online things as well, so that they have the information, or do they have to have their soldier with them since a CAT card is not required?
That's a great question, because I really don't know. I don't know if the actual same website would be actually out there available to them, because the soldier has to register to take the courses.
Okay.
And it has to be turned on in order for them to do it, and then it could be turned off. However, we will be supplying a packet of information to the soldier that will have that information, and also websites that the family members can go and back and re-look at things to answer some of the questions.
Wonderful.
And then we also have that support team that we talked about earlier within the command.
Wonderful. Sir, how will the families get the information from the Rear Det Command team?
That is, right now, it's going to be the same phone number.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to have the same phone number. We will still have a Family Readiness Group coordinator. That point of contact information is not going to change, especially from the office phone number here in the Aviation Brigade. We will have a Rear Det, though, that his sole purpose is to take care of, communicate with us downrange on a regular basis, and also to be here for the family members. And when that is actually being developed right now, the structure has been developed. We are putting the faces to the spaces. However, once that is established, all that information will be going out to the family members to make sure they know who to call, what time of day, 24/7, if they have an emergency back here at home, or if they need additional information.
Command Sergeant Major Livolsi, if there is a follow-up event and events during the deployment that the family readiness groups are going to be putting on, how will the families get that information?
Well, that's a good question, Gail. It kind of ties into what Colonel Lloyd was just talking about. While we're downrange, we will have soldiers back here that are in charge of operations. It really takes three things. It takes that rear command team that's here. It's going to take strong FRG leaders and FRG volunteers. Those three things are going to be what's going to help connect everything together. But soldiers have to provide accurate family information. That's one of the keys. If the family support group does not have accurate family information, then people are going to get left out. So.
Okay. The follow-up events such as monthly meetings, will the families be getting that information as well?
I think as time goes on, that will all become clear. Right now with the COVID-19 epidemic, everybody's staying at home, but I would assume that there are going to be FRG functions and meetings and things like that once our country starts getting back to normal.
So another big question I get from almost every family member is communication. When the soldier is in another country, how will communication be, and what will it look like?
You know, with technology, I mean, I'm actually going through that right now with my spouse and my family of what can I take over there with me to actually secure the communication that we have together, and actually how can I communicate with them while I'm overseas. That is, what we're going to try to do here in the Aviation Brigade is our information technology department is we're going to publish some information to the soldier to put out to them of what is the best way that they can use to protect them. And we're talking, you know, that PI, the personal identification information, that when you're over there on their network, you are dependent upon the people and the individuals over there on their network. We had an experience where one person made a phone call and immediately they were getting spam from other countries over there. The phone number was from other countries. So we're going to try to publish some information to the soldiers on what is the best way to communicate and to secure that information and to protect them while they're communicating overseas. The other thing, though, I'd like to add to that is that with technology, we want to hear from our loved ones every day because of the unknown, to make sure that they are okay. There's going to be times, because of the situation, that we were not going to, because they're working really hard. They're out on the flight line, they're on flights, or when I went over to do the pre-deployment assessment, I got weathered in at one of the FOBs for 3 days. Well, their technology and their information and their network is completely different than where I established it earlier. So I wasn't able to talk or communicate with anybody for 3 days.
Wow.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. Our soldiers are going to be busy, and the situation can be different. Every single day over there will not be the same. So communication, we'll put out information to try to help them on making it easier to communicate. But if they can't communicate every day and you go a couple of days, 3 weeks, maybe in a week, they can actually reach out to the what was provided before with the Family Readiness Group back here, and the team will be back here just to double check that unknown.
Okay. And when you say you're going to give the soldiers information about how to keep safe and what they can do, will that information be posted on the Facebook pages as well?
We'll look into that. I didn't think about that. As of right now, we'll see what information that we call it the S6 department, but the signal department. You hear a lot of family members are going to get used to the military terms and acronyms and all that. But from the information technology department that we have, after they develop the plan and we review it, we'll make sure it gets approved and all that, and we can put it out there, and we'll let that information know.
Wonderful. Command Sergeant Major Livolsi, as a family member, would you recommend watching the news during all of this and during the deployment? And if not, how do you recommend the family members get the most up-to-date information and stay publicly aware?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't want to say you want to totally avoid the news, but viewers just need to realize that the news doesn't always paint the complete picture. The most reliable thing, our public affairs department, their #1 job is to take the news that's going on where we're at and put it out there for our families to see on our Facebook page. So that's what I would rely on. You may see things on the news, but don't always believe everything that you saw. Rely on the message that we're putting out on our Facebook page.
Okay. Will there be a follow-up to this video?
Yes, the short answer is yes. We will. We will continue to communicate information once we get it to our family members. And when we do that, even when we're overseas, we're going to actually come up with a way to communicate through social media, through the 28 ECAB site, and provide information as we get it to our family members. So we will follow up as things change, as new information is developed, and we will send it out to the families as soon as we can.
Okay. Now, who do the families contact if they have follow-up questions from this video?
They're doing it right now. They actually contacted you in the beginning, and we actually developed questions where it's confusing to them, because we're not really sure. We give out information to the soldiers, and we give out information that is in the best interest, in a way that it's in the best interest for the brigade.
Okay.
In other words, anything top secret or secret right now, we can't really send out there on the social media.
Right.
So and we don't know what the soldiers share with their spouses or their loved ones at home. So when it's confusing, or if they think they're not really getting the true picture, we are not here to withhold any information from the family members. We will try to develop in a way. They can contact you, they can contact the Family Readiness Group if they can't get a hold of you. And also when we're downrange, if they need to get a hold of the Rear Detachment, they can do that. And once, we may not be able to answer it right away because we're busy, but we will answer it in the soonest possible way.
Okay. Sir, that is all the questions so far that we've received from the Family Readiness Groups and from the family members. I want to thank you very much for taking the time, both of you, out of your day in order to make this and get these messages out to the family members, and for always your continued support for not just your soldiers, but also for their families as well.
No, we appreciate it, and we appreciate the communication that you have with us. So please keep them coming. Have you received questions from the family members? Please let us know what they are and what their concerns are, because sometimes soldiers don't communicate with us the same way. So, and I would like to actually add, we are a part of a huge family here. And I stated it before in our memorandum and stuff like that. We have a unique opportunity. Not many people out there are a part of a family like we have here in the Aviation Brigade. We're pretty close. And I welcome you all to take part of that. All the family members, the dads, the moms, the spouses, the fiancés, please come on out and be a part of our family. And this may be some of the family members out there very, very first experience. They're scared, they're afraid of the unknown, they're honored, they're proud of their soldier, all wrapped up. But there's other individuals out there that this may be their third or fourth deployment that they are experienced with their loved one. So the information is out there. I asked them, from what the Command Sergeant Major said earlier, is to be part of the Family Readiness Group. They are not alone as we go through this mission. They are not alone being home alone with their family members overseas. We have a support structure in place to support them, and I welcome them to be a part of our family. So please, if they have any other questions, please, I hope they let somebody know what their concerns are, and we will try to answer them in this quickest means possible.
Okay. When you say let someone know, the soldiers do receive these maps, the FAC and FRSA map. Big thing for the family members is, like you said, they're not alone. Sometimes you feel like they're alone, and they are absolutely not. They can reach out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to any of these numbers, and we will get them in touch with whoever they need to get in touch with, whether it be the Rear Detachment, their soldier, their Family Assistance Center specialist, anything, mental health, financial, anything like that. We'll make sure we get them. The State Family Program gets them where they need to go.
That's a great program. Yep, thank you. Thank you very much. So for now, God bless. More information to follow, and please, if you need anything, please let us know. Thank you.